Boys, so the rabbit hole has led you here, and you're probably asking yourself, who is this guy, this young, jacked, handsome Irish G, talking to me on the camera right now? And to answer that, all I have to say really in this moment right now is I'm just some guy. I'm just some guy from the middle of nowhere, surrounded by nothing but acres and acres of farmland in my hometown in Wisconsin, USA. No luxury, no one's even heard of from the town that I'm from. It's a middle of the nowhere, and not much success comes from it. And what I was realizing today is I was realizing all that this is in this small town is just small town thoughts, small town world. It's a pendulum of energy. And I realized, like, wow, this is really just a lot of poor people with poor vibrations, stuck in poor cycles of poor choices, poor habits, poor thoughts, poor emotions, and they're vibrating at a very low base level. Okay? And I can promise you, with whatever you want, if I could even just say it right here, I have enough confidence and courage to speak it on camera that I know I'm already a millionaire. I might not have the physical proof to prove it, not the number on the screen or the pieces of paper, the physical material, but I am up here. I'm a millionaire up here. So you can come back to this video when the physical evidence is there. And this isn't to stroke my ego or anything, but I'm simply stating that I am that sure of myself and I am that confident, okay? So come back to this video. This is a new YouTube channel. And another thing I was realizing is, you know, with this whole season changing, everyone likes to go, you know, I'm gonna set goals for myself. It's gonna be, you know, winter arc, and let's feed into this pendulum. I'm gonna set myself out to get goals, but you end up not actually even achieving any of those goals. And this was me too, you know, going to the gym and only to be gaining and then losing the same 3 or 4 pounds of muscle in a vicious cycle. Okay, everything, if I dumbed it down, is that everything is just a cycle if you allow it to be. So I'm saying screw the winter arc. It's time to go God mode, boys. It's time to tap into that spirituality, because if you're not aligned with God, which, remember, God is within you. God is within each and every single one of us. Everyone that has a soul is capable of hitting that enlightenment of that God state, that God frequency. The number one thing I need you to understand with any desired outcome, I could tell you all of the habits and actions that you need to do, but that's not gonna actually lead you to do that, okay? What you need to do is straight up sit in a locked room, dark, maybe before bed, hit prayers, hit meditations, and simply become aware. The first step to a transformation is becoming aware. What do I mean by this? Introspection, meaning thinking about thinking. Okay? No stimulation, that is the enemy. Distraction is the enemy. If you want to break through from this psyop, from this cycle, from the matrix, from the rat race, whatever you want to call it, you must tap into God by meditating or praying. Make it become a habit every single day, becoming aware of your daily thoughts, your emotions, how you feel. And once you become aware, then you can shift your energy, because remember, your thoughts and your emotions all have energy, which vibrate at a rate. Abundance and scarcity are both just energy, but they vibrate at different rates. You see what I'm saying? So the whole point of locking in, or whatever you want to call it, is to raise your vibration. And by raising your vibration, you raise your frequency, which is the rate at which you vibrate. But what you need to understand is that there's 3 aspects to this. Number 1, becoming aware of your conscious thoughts, your emotions that you feel on a daily basis. And once you can pinpoint your baseline mood, where your attention goes, because where attention goes, energy flows. What you're focusing on. If you're focusing on a bunch of bullshit like TikTok, memes, concerts, drinking alcohol, fitting in, socializing, any of that, then you're just gonna get that mirrored back into reality, and you're not gonna go anywhere. But if you're focusing on abundance, money, intelligence, God, your health, and all of those things, then it is only a matter of time until all of those thoughts manifest into physical reality. And you have to remember that honesty is key with this. You can lie to others, but you cannot lie to the universe. And the universe knows how you truly feel in the depths of your mind. Do you feel frustrated? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel nervous? Do you feel hopeless? Do you feel depressed? If you continue to focus on all of these energies and become almost obsessed with your own pity, then guess what? It's only going to amplify that. You're only going to mirror that into reality even more. That's why the poor get poorer and the rich get richer. They both have the same energy, but they vibrate at different rates, like I said, with the people in my town. And so what does this actually look like? You're probably wanting some sort of practical advice, so to say. And the best way I could describe it to you is you need to literally be willing to sacrifice your old identity, because all sacrifice is simply a transference. Okay, it's a transfer. You're making a trade. You could eat fast food and have fun with your friends and drink and smoke and play video games and have mindless entertainment all the time. Or you could sacrifice all those BS habits that you know you have and transfer them into something good, into reading books, taking notes, making yourself more intelligent, getting politically involved, raising your spirituality, getting off of your phone, praying to God, watching informational YouTube videos, even like mine, doing your own research, how to improve your physical body, your health, your brain, all the supplements you need, and using that, focusing on success, focusing on the bigger picture, where you want to end up, instead of focusing on the right now and what feels good and the monkey brain. The ego. You know, I don't really know if this has anything to do with who I am now, but it probably does. When I was in 7th grade, I had smoked weed for the very first time. And now me and my friend bought it from some guy that we didn't even know, some sketchy dude, in a 2002 Chevy Impala at a gas station, BP, off the highway, and we biked there. And since I smoked that first time, I don't know if it was just because, you know, your first time is super crazy or anything, but since that time, I've never been able to recreate that same experience from smoking weed. And I think that it might have been laced with some sort of something. But what I will say is that after that day, I was never the same. I started to view everything completely different. And I'm not just saying that it locked me in. I'm simply saying that, you know, after I smoked that, it's like you unveiled what reality is and you cannot go back after that. This isn't like some schizophrenia or some insanity. I don't even smoke weed anymore. I haven't for a while. But I'm saying that it gave me a different perspective on how everything comes together and how everything works. How everything is frames in reality that we call reality. So once you can shift your attention and truly become aware, looking around at, oh, this guy's wearing this mask, this girl's wearing this mask, but really, truly, she feels these insecurities, he feels these insecurities. That's why he's doing these things, he's filling the void. But then do it to yourself. That's how I started to do it. I started to do it to myself. And I would be like, okay, why am I saying that I'm gonna do all these things and then I end up playing video games all day and only just thinking and having the same thought patterns, like I said earlier in the video, of 90% of which are just the same recycled thoughts. And for me, it would go a little something like, I should probably do this task, to then I will do it later, to then I'm occupied right now and I started to get frustrated and give reactions because some circumstances got in my way of doing the task. And then I would think, oh, let's just do something else, we'll do it tomorrow, we'll push it off to tomorrow. And that was my most self-sabotaging thought, because every single day I would tell myself, I'm gonna get this done. And then it would somehow get pushed into some BS where it would be, oh, well, you know, it's not that important, and this came up, you know, my grandma wants to go to church with me or something like this, so I can't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll put it off to tomorrow. This can be business, this could be the gym, anything like that. But like I said, we are men now. We're not boys, we're not children. Men is for women and children. As a man, you're supposed to protect, provide, and have that masculine essence to conquer. And once you raise your consciousness, what I like to do is I like to wake up, literally do not go on my phone. I treat it like I'm in the 1950s. I wake up, go grab my coffee, sit outside in the sun first thing in the morning, enjoy and be present with nature. That's why I film all my videos outside, man. I love nature. Get outside. And then I tap into that infinite realm of potential and that infinite intelligence, God, and I start to introspect and think about myself, you know. Where am I headed? What is my direction? Am I doing my tasks that is required? Am I putting my self-mastery first to cultivate the God within me, to then ultimately alter my reality indefinitely and be vibrating at such a rate that I am literally levitating? And then I do something physical for myself. I instantly hydrate myself because I've been fasted for 8 hours of sleeping. Instantly hydrating myself, it's become a habit for me. A big thing of water with electrolytes and creatine for my brain to get my brain functioning well. That's for my health. These all reflect my goals and my energy of raising my vibration and my frequency. After that, I literally just start reading. I get deep into the Bible, and I have about 4 different books that I'll read at the same time, and that might be too many, but I'd like to do 1 page of some sort of philosophy. As a man, I feel that is very important. Some stoic wisdom from some old white intelligent G from back in the day. That is a competitive advantage. How many of these kids nowadays do you think are actually buying and just not even just buying, but literally actually reading and interpreting and writing out notes about stoicism or philosophy and these great brilliant ideas? And then another subject, metaphysics, the universe, vibration, spirituality, I would say, is the second most important. That's what I do, that's what I read. I'm reading this one right now, you should check it out. And I write notes. I don't just read it passively. I read it and I take notes about how does this apply to me? How can I change one thing and make my life that much better, and apply this book and download it into my supercomputer quantum brain, because your brain is actually a lot crazier than you think. You're just operating and using only 5% of it. And when you fill up your brain with a bunch of garbage, pendulum ideas, and the news and the sports and the football and the video games and the social and what's he doing and she's messing with him now, and oh my god, we gotta go to that concert, we gotta go get drunk, and oh my god, how are we gonna get that? You gotta pay me back, you gotta Venmo me for the meal because we were so drunk last night. Oh, I'm mad and I'm reacting. But that is such a robotic way of living. You need to be stoic as a man. Isolate yourself if it is necessary. Hang out with only people that are going to improve your life, that bring you up, who have the same vision and goals as you. And the more you read and actually apply it, the more you will actually, that is literally the cheat code. That is like probably the most gate-kept thing. I don't think most people who read books talk about it, but I want to give you guys as much value on this channel so you can make a transformation without even buying my coaching. Right? Obviously the goal is that you want to lock in with me for the implementation and holding you accountable to all of these things you say you want to do, and get guidance and help and the one-on-one calls and all that stuff. I could try to sell you on it on this video, but that's not the point of this video. I promise you, if you start getting into reading, raising your vibration, your frequency on these specific books, stoicism, spiritualities, religious, one business book for finance, you could call it, and then another just like general self-improvement, psychology, and how everything works, like Robert Greene type books. And all of this is doing is that it is ultimately just skill acquisition. You are acquiring so many different skills from so many different niches and areas, and the goal isn't to look for physical evidence. A Bible verse that I like is Corinthians 5:7, for we walk with faith, not by vision. And what this means is that instead of looking for physical reality and letting that determine and dictate everything you do by looking in the physical realm, like I said earlier in the video, I literally proved it by saying I might not have the physical evidence to prove that I'm a millionaire, but I know that I am up here. And that's all that manifestation is and how it works, is that you have to truly have conviction with your beliefs, changing your beliefs, your perception of reality, your reactions, your emotions, your thoughts, realizing you are the master in control of this whole entire video game. It is GTA, and you can literally create anything you want. You can spawn that jet, you can spawn the cars, spawn the penthouse, spawn the physique. But again, it's going to equal sacrifice. It's going to equal 5 years of pain and suffering, but I wouldn't even call it that, because I'm perfectly content where I am. I'm broke, but I'm perfectly content with where I'm at, because I know what I am doing right now is my dream life. I'm already living my dream life, filming and making videos for YouTube, Instagram, coaching guys, helping them lock in, raise their vibrations, their spirituality, their consciousness and frequency. For me, it was ultimately realizing that all of this isn't worth it. All of the pain and suffering I'm feeling, all the anxiety and frustration and anger and sadness, all the negative, poorly, slow vibrating thoughts and emotions, all stemmed from the fact that I wasn't doing what I thought I wanted to do. If God is placing these visions in your heart and you know you are truly not meant to be average, you're not meant to be an NPC, then you are disrespecting God by not making time to meditate and pray and get closer with that consciousness and with God. And as a result, He's not going to reward you. God will never reward you if you don't make time to get closer with the consciousness. And all that the sinning is that sinning is just ultimately going to lead you to hell, which isn't even the whole idea of an afterlife and a burning pot of lava. All hell is hell is on earth. Hell is feeling all of these feelings that you know you have more, you know you have a higher purpose, a higher calling, but not acting upon it, not taking the actions, not aligning yourself, and not listening to yourself. You're ultimately just sabotaging yourself and you're disrespecting God. So how do you expect your life to change, right? And I think I realized I was wasting potential when I went away to college, and I quickly realized that I did not fit in with all my peers, with my group. And I realized I was sabotaging myself because I set myself out to do all these great things, to start businesses, to start making money, to start getting closer to God. I said all these things, like we said with the mask, that's what I wanted to appear as, but internally, I didn't know who the hell I was. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know where I would end up going, and that scared me and led me into a sense of soullessness, which is the worst feeling. You call it depression maybe, but literally being locked up in my room in a dark, cold, wet room with no one around me, just alone, afraid. But that is what ultimately led me to God. Because when you're isolated, if you're in jail, your own prison, so to speak, then you are literally have no other choice than to sit with just you and your thoughts, look inwards, and reflect and go, what do I want to do with my life? What do I have to be willing to sacrifice to get there? You can almost reverse engineer your way out of it, and God will put those visions into you. You simply have to just get off the phone. The phone is the worst thing ever invented because it's constantly stimulating and raping your brain. So like I said, you need to be like a 1950s dad. Be religious, hold your beliefs with conviction, already believe them to be true with whatever it is. If you want more money, you want success, you want fame, any of that is possible. You simply have to place that within your heart, and internally, look into your own reflection of your soul, and then externally those things will start to manifest. But most people go wrong and give up because they don't see it. Like that Bible verse I was talking about. You don't walk with vision, with what you physically see on this physical realm. Because what the physical realm, all it is an illusion. Everything you see around you is an illusion. If we could see as much as there really was in the universe, if we were able to see energy, every one of us would have an electromagnetic field of energy, an aura. This is why Jesus was literally God on earth, had the highest frequency, consciousness, and vibration, so much that he literally had a visible halo, which is his aura, from his crown chakra. Most of you are trapped down here in the base chakra, hell, with lust, with the 7 deadly sins, and disrespecting God. So my core message is to isolate yourself as a man. Have the courage. There are 2 types of courage. The first courage is to get started, to do that vision that God put into you. And the second version of courage is to keep going despite not seeing physical evidence on the physical realm. Forget the money. If you don't see the money in months and months of doing it, if you don't see the money, if you don't see the results in the gym, if you're still weak and skinny, but you're doing everything right? This is where you go wrong, because you see it in the physical reality and you go, oh, I'm gonna give up. And that's the weakest mindset you can have. To give up because you don't see it on the physical realm. But if you realized that that is all just an illusion, just everything that we can see, and it is much deeper in a spiritual and mental realm, then you will realize. Boys, it takes courage to get started. It takes even more courage to keep going despite the lack of physical evidence around you. It is probably the hardest thing in the world, and I am going through it right now. Okay, this isn't some big, huge YouTuber who's telling you all this, but there's a huge disconnect because you're so far away from that person with 1 million subscribers, $100 million, these guys like TJR or Brez Scales. It's hard to connect with them, but I am literally only a few steps ahead of you because of what I realized already, and that's why I'm giving it all away for free. So my hope is that I'm inspiring you to take that first step. Okay, take that first step of being willing to be consciously aware of your thoughts on a daily basis, pinpoint that mood that you operate under each and every single day, and then from there, reverse engineering it, reprogramming yourself with only abundant thoughts, with only already feeling that success as it already happened, and then taking the habits and actions of that new identity. Okay, I'll give you an example really quick and break it down. So my old frequency, what were my old thoughts? I was scared, I was insecure, I felt weak, I felt broken, hopeless. Literally the meaning, like the whole word of hopelessness. Feeling like it's all over for me, my family situation's all screwed up. There's a lot of stuff I could tell you about that. I'm not socializing with any people, any females. I feel very lonely. I'm posting videos online, not getting that many views. People that went to high school with me are probably making fun of me. But you know what? I know what is within me because I made that stoic decision to isolate myself away, get closer with God, increase my frequency, my vibrations, and having that courage, no matter what, no matter if you're a skinny, scrawny weakling, beta, fat, whatever your physical reality is, there is hope and there is change if you act upon with true intention and true desire to change. I promise you it is possible. And I've been seeing that with my clients that I've been working with. And at the start, it took a while. It took them to realize, all of this energy frequency stuff, it's hard to comprehend. It's hard. It's going to be hard. But you need to keep pushing. You need to buy more books. Listen to ebooks. Get them, watch free resources like YouTube videos and take notes and apply them and reprogram your supercomputer for success, for abundance and wealth, prosperity, radiant health, and whatever it is that you want. Holy shit. There's a big buck. Wow. That is God right there. Look at that majestic beauty. It's actually crazy I caught that. But also, another thing I might add is to realize with the whole karma thing, the whole idea of karma, it isn't simply that, you know, if you're a dick to someone, then people are going to treat you like a dick. It doesn't actually work like that. All that karma is that realizing that all of our souls, everyone with a soul is the same. We all have God within us. We're all united and everything is one. Everything in the universe is connected. And so what you do unto others in Christianity, the golden commandment, the golden rule, is treat others the way you'd like to be treated. And this is for a reason, because they realized that everyone is the same. So when you cast negativity and curse people, then that is literally, you're just doing that to yourself. You're putting that energy and frequency onto yourself as well. So realize that everyone, every soul that you interact with is all the same as you, just a different physical expression of God. But with that being said, boys, let's close out here. I hope that your journey brings you prosperity and wealth and abundance, and at the very least, you stuck to the end of this video and you have the courage to lock in. You have the strength to go against all of the modern day BS of a modern beta male and become that higher, truly enlightened version of yourself. Amen. You got this. You have the strength.